McDonald. I have the privilege and honor of serving as the chair of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee. I can be reached at Eric T. McDonald on social. I have the honor of leading this work that is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to support San Francisco doing right by Black folks. The history of this country, this state, and the city of San Francisco is ripe with harms perpetrated on Black folks. It began with slavery, it continued with Jim Crow laws, it further continued with racially discriminated housing policy, and continues today in efforts of redlining, devaluing of property, all in efforts to intentionally deprive Black folks from the opportunity to thrive in this country. And we have the opportunity through reparations to remedy that, to bring repair and redress, and to put Black folks back on the path towards economic self-sufficiency, vitality, and building Black wealth once in a lifetime, and I believe we can do it now.
What does this mean? The nation is watching. We always leave the nation with that arrowhead.
Yes.
That hardened arrowhead leading away.
It means two things. One, it means we're gonna have to endure a lot of what those in the lead of things endure, a lot of the pushback, the pressure. We've gotten death threats on the committee, but it also means that we are forging the way for the entire country. In the same ways that San Francisco has led in other social issues, here is an opportunity for San Francisco to be the beacon of hope for Black folks across the country, and therefore have Black folks again in this nation experience the kind of repair that we are all due.
That's the floor, not the ceiling of the discussion.
Wow.
We owe you so much more. It was like, yes, you get it. The other piece of it, just to provide notes, what we said is, look, we need to actually take a look at area median income, right? So that wealth disparity for black versus everyone else, we need to bring that to zero, right? And for us, it's not, oh, we want white people to make less. That's stupid. That's nonsense. But what we do want to do is make sure that Black people actually have the opportunity to sort of make more, so that $97,000 to bring everyone up to that level. That's a specific part of the cash part of what we're sort of taking a look at. Next, we sort of took a look at rental housing and home ownership. We have a number of recommendations like around this. We need to make it completely simple for people to be able to get into home. So number one, we take a look at certificates of preference, talking about a policy decision. Hey, sister, I'm going to give you a certificate of preference. Come back whenever you want. She comes back, oh, we changed those rules. Oh, now you don't qualify. She does her thing. She goes through and qualifies, comes back. Oh no, we changed those rules again. This has been going on over and over and over and over again.
Hello, my name is Ronald D. Carter. I'm with American Economic Recovery Project Foundation International Affiliates Commission and the Praise Be Found Homeless Foundation of America. I want to state my comments about the reparations agenda here so that you can completely understand the reason why the importance of bringing forward and adding American Economic Recovery Project Foundation to the master plan of African American reparations agenda is so that we have a much larger pie, a much larger table to be able to feed not only us, our community, but every other racial and ethnic group in America. That's the single most important reason why we need to take advantage of this golden opportunity to make sure that African Americans are empowered so that we can participate in economic recovery while at the same time helping to make sure that other racial groups and ethnic groups in America are also similarly empowered so they can help their communities. This is the single most important component of what I am trying to add to the African American reparations agenda. Now, this strategy has been left out of the actual final draft. However, I'm going to ask the committee to include it And we're going to have a discussion about it at County Board of Supervisors meeting on Tuesday. I've already sent out emails to every member of the County Board of Supervisors to take a look at American Economic Recovery Project Foundation affiliates. Why? Because I want to show them by giving African Americans the money that they request for reparations, that we're going to put it to good use and make it so that every community in America is also benefited. So it's in the best interest of the County Board of Supervisors to support the Reparations Committee, because we're going to not only help ourselves, but we're going to try to help others and every other ethnic group in America. That's the single most important thing I need to impress upon you, is that support my plan, support African American Reparations Committee's plan, so that we can feed and take care of everyone else in America. And that's the beauty of it all, is that until you've seen my plans and my websites, you don't understand the reason why it's so very important that everyone supports, not just me, not just you, but every American support African economic recovery and the reparations movement, so that we can feed others, freeing us so we can help to free you. That's the bottom line.
Hello, I'm Paula Farmer. I'm a member of Glide Memorial Church and the facilitator for Glide's Racial Justice Group. My contact information is 415-823-5534, or P as in Paul, D as in Delta, F as in Frank, the number 2@hotmail.com.
And what does reparations mean to you?
Reparations is a big issue. I come from Texas originally. I've been in San Francisco for 19 years now. And there is a lot that is not being addressed in a city that's supposed to be as progressive and inclusive as San Francisco, and also as wealthy as San Francisco is. The issues that have impacted African Americans here, I think there was like 12% African American population in the city when I first moved here. Now I believe it hovers somewhere around 3 or 4%. And so that is something that's a stark reminder of how we have been disenfranchised in the city, how we have been lacking in education. More Black males are expelled from high school by the time they're in 10th grade than any other population, as well as the Latinx males. And I'm a big advocate for education, so it really matters to me on that level. But then also looking at things like housing and displacement, and how we've leveraged, or how the city has leveraged eminent domain to take people's properties, or how just the systems are not there to make sure that children who inherit property are able to maintain it. So there's never been programs that have been put into place to make sure that we can thrive here in the city that we help to build. And so those are some of the reasons that I'm really passionate about reparations now. And it's something that is doable. It's not just about the dollar amount. It is also about all the other programming that we can do with education, with healthcare, with economic empowerment, to make sure that African Americans, Blacks have the same access to programs as other groups of people, and that we also make sure that we are not just looking back at what's been done in the past, but then also the gains that have been made for children going into the future.
My name is Marvin K. White. I'm the minister here at Glide Memorial Church. My title is Minister of Celebration here. So we're really happy and honored to be able to have this conversation about reparations at Glide Memorial Church. We believe that if we're able to convene these kinds of conversations, then we can just step right down and sink right down into a sacred part of this conversation. What is God asking to happen in this moment? How is repair moving in the spirit? How are we going to return and restore the faith and the hopes and the dreams that have been dashed by the vestiges of chattel slavery? How are we going to restore and make whole again African Americans in the city? So we make sure that it's a part of our theology of liberation, that this is actually the outcome of many years of social justice work in this city, and that we're just, again, honored that the community trusts Glide to have these conversations.
Great, and if you, by the way, these maps, if you overlay redlining maps with a lot of the disparities that we see today, they match up pretty much exactly. Like you see health disparities and things like that on a map, and they line up with the redlining map. Next slide. So
there starts with my grandmother, being a sharecropper, and my father coming to San Francisco during World War II, and eventually moving to to the Fillmore. And my historical memory starts with my father. I grew up hearing stories about the supper clubs, the after-hour parties, and things like that of the Fillmore. And my father was a gentleman that dressed from that era, you know, with the hats, the three-quarter length coats, and hardworking, worked 2 jobs. And by the time I came along, that area was decimated. It was like a moonscape, meaning that there were a couple of, he still went to that place. He still went to the Fillmore because that's where his friends were. And later on, as I grew up, I was born in the Fillmore in 1970. And when I came along, all of the businesses, the skate rinks, the economic corridor and the place of gathering, and also my family, my sisters, all of my family lived there. And when urban redevelopment came along, that not only destroyed the community, but also my family. So historically, my family had to move. We were displaced during that time, and it has affected, you know, the community of my family, meaning the relationships. And so this reparations is not only an opportunity to repair something and acknowledge something, a harm that was done directly to my family, but also with the number of recommendations. Yes, monetary is always one thing, but the opportunity to have opportunity to talk about schools and to talk about the contributions that African Americans have made to San Francisco in terms of the culture, the music, and my father was part of a number of organizing, you know, the union organizing that is going on again now. But we stand on shoulders that many African Americans have died and dedicated their lives to, that we don't hear about anymore. So now, being a mother and an auntie, this is an opportunity to give back and create a legacy for my younger family members, my son, so that he can learn about the contributions that have been long invisibilized and not talked about, buried. So this is very historic. I have family members all over the states that are looking to San Francisco to hear about, and this is about hope.
Accidental. People can just wake up one day and say, oh, we're going to just tear this down. Not only did they tear it down, they made sure it stayed underdeveloped for decades. That's a policy decision. As she gave in the quote, we can't have those people come back here. The entire time you've underinvested in those neighborhoods, those homes, security, police, education, intentional. Internationally, nationally, and here in City and County of San Francisco, and say, hey, what can we do to reverse that? We did it through a lens of this. Yes, City of San Francisco got this money from the federal government. I'm not necessarily blaming the federal government, but this Board of Supervisors made decisions in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Yeah. They made specific decisions around the policy, and that's what we need to correct. Yeah. So that's our framework for where we're coming from, totally completely. So I'd like to sort of get into those specific recommendations. Next slide, please.
My name is Freddie Martin. I am the Community Engagement and Congregational Life Manager at Glide Memorial Church. I've been here since March. And one of the reasons that I started working here was because of some of the work that I have been doing a couple of years prior with Reparations and the Racial Justice Group, one of our congregational life groups here at Glide. And I basically was really activated and interested in reparations for African Americans in San Francisco. I felt like it was long overdue, and when this opportunity presented itself to be a part of the planning and giving input on what we need as African Americans and what we want as African Americans in reparations, I couldn't pass that up. So I started spreading the word, talking about it here at Glide and throughout the city, and it just evolved. One of the reasons why this is so important to me is not only because of the own systemic racist things that have happened to me, or systemically racist things that have happened to me, and the discrimination and the prejudice. It's the stories from my family. It's the stories from my neighbors. It's the stories from a lot of Black and brown identified folks and African American people in the city as to the harms that have been done to them and continue to happen to them. This part for me started in a larger way after George Floyd's murder. During COVID, while we were all sheltered in place, everybody got to see clearly, whether they believed it or not, they got to see clearly what has historically and continues to be done to our people. So what this means to me is a chance for reparation, a chance for repairing the harms, a chance for revitalizing our community, a chance to correct the mistakes that have been done so that we can experience and have the same freedoms, the same liberties as all of our other counterparts that live here in the United States. So it's important for this to continue in the ways that we've been doing it. It's important to continue to put pressure on the powers that be, the governments that have historically participated in enslavement and treating us horribly and killing us, to say, okay, we know that we've done something wrong and we're going to repair that. It's been one of the dumbest things to ever happen in the history of the world is enslavement. 16, 19, 20 to 30 Africans that were taken off of a ship were traded for supplies. And that's how this started. You know, so knowing that this is one of the dumbest things that ever happened and it was a huge mistake, it's time to correct it. Black people have been fighting for this since we were kidnapped over here. So that's why it's important to me, and it's time that all of the wealth that was created on the backs of our ancestors and continues to be created on the backs of African Americans and others, it needs to be taken care of and fixed now.
My name is Antoine Mahan. I can be reached at my business phone number, which is 808-557-9939, or my email, which is queeva42@gmail.com. Those are the two places you can reach me at.
Okay, can you please tell me what reparations mean to you?
Reparation means to me is giving back to us that was taken from us. We have suffered a long, long time, and we are continuing to suffer unless something is done about it. I've been living in the Bayview Hunters Point almost 19 years, coming up in November. And 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with pulmonary lung disease, most likely from the toxic soil that they have over there. And they are continuously building new homes over there and basically pushing our people out of the community. And I live down the street from where they're working at, and they're constantly working over there. I came out here 33 and a half years ago from the East Coast. So basically, I am a San Franciscan, and also being in the system, in and out of the system of jail and prison from 91 up until 99, I gave them back my parole number. So this is basically what reparation means to me, is giving back to the community.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Shanks. I'm a community organizer, activist, founder of the soul food restaurant that will be opening up here in the Tenderloin on Turk and Jones this spring. What reparation means to me is equality. It means paying a bill to the native San Franciscans that have been stopped from wealth gain, who have had their homes taken away, who have not been able to buy housing, who were tricked out of selling their housing, who have been displaced out of San Francisco. Reparation means to me fairness, what's only fair and what's only right, doing what's right and helping us regain our wealth again and our home and everything else that's included. I'm a third generation native from San Francisco.
Being whisked away on stilts and on wheels. I saw homes being rolled out. Even though the Japanese were in internment camps, they received Japantown. And that's fine with me. But again, we were ousted out in so many ways. I know that we can do this together, and I want to commend everyone that has been involved. I have watched online, but now this is the push. This is the Operation Push. So I want to be around to help out and to push this thing going. I feel it is imperative that San Francisco survives and wins. And I just thank Cecil Williams for being a part of it. I worked for him and his wife. I was here almost 20 years. And I'm so grateful that they were here to help. So I'm here to help. And I want to push this thing forward. Thank you.
Why? Actually, my biggest part I'd like to be able to support is education. You know, for the most part, when Gloria Berry mentioned about not having a black school in, San Francisco, to me, I thought that was a crime, basically. So I support wholeheartedly about education. We need a black school, maybe at HBCU. And so, yes, education all the way. We can take all my money and put it towards education.